and guten Morgen to you from the Styrian Mountains here in Spielberg, Austria. Welcome everyone to Split B of the 2024-25 Formula Hololive International season. We're here in the penultimate round of the 12-round campaign, by which we will be starting off with the Spielberg Super Prix. Initially it was the Mugello Super Prix, but because it was delayed to give room for Kaminai Riba to arrive. Speaking of which, Riba has, I believe, arrived in Bologna and is currently on his way to get himself back into Mugello. But anyways, we're here for the Spielberg Super Prix coming right up for you for Split B. So let's take a brief look into the track map. 4.3 kilometers of racetrack, on which we'll be dealing with 14 corners. Or was that 12 corners? But anywho, we got 58 laps of racing ahead of us here in Spielberg. Looking at target laps of 122.568. At least that's what our targets used to say. It's the final split. Actually, it's not the Split A race of the season. It's the final Split B race of the season. It's also the home race for Takanashi Kiara, which Corey recommended will try to get himself into a position to win for the KFB. He wants to get Ricky at the podium, and more better yet, at the top step. But we'll see if this can become a reality, as we're going to be taking a look into the championship order. As we're about to start round 11, we'll see the update as of round 10. Split B is where the big title fight is at, with Javier Lusby versus Ryan Kagawa. Kagawa has been seeing some kind of fall off in the middle of the season, well, in the tail end of the season, after having such a dominant run in the first 8 races. Javier Lusby, meanwhile, is going to be catching up. It's going to be young versus old in the competition, with Ryan Kagawa being just an 18-year-old and Javier Lusby being 42. This will be a battle of the generations. Oh, I think we heard something. I heard there was a crash going on, but never mind that. Josh Azuret, meanwhile, will be trying to see if he can gnaw some points away to the field as he is going to be competing in Split A. Mohammad Shazan Reza also will be doing likewise in Split B, as he is still in a fringe title. As he's still technically in title contention, as well as Rafael de Oliveira, Liam Kai, and the Rawa Pantera team. Currently, this race will be piloted in this race. Well, in today, it will be piloted by Kaminai Riba. We'll talk about that later. Yuta Sano will be competing later on. Will be competing in this one. Again, how did we forget to put the Thomas Ferreira name? Hang on, we are just going to do some slight adjustments. So, anywho, with that being said, we are just going to be focusing on international standings. It's not actually Thomas Ferreira in the standings. He has been replaced by Tawan Bumin. Give me a second. Anyways, hang on. We always forgot that Thomas Ferreira is no longer in the ARO. He just couldn't find any enjoyment ever since a few things happened. He is the guy responsible for deliveries for Hala Ian's racing efforts. Anyway, here's the updated standings with Tawan Bumin properly reflected. Tawan Bumin 9 for Fawa, Hazik Yazid 10th, Koi Rico, Monazitaro, Louis Boswell, Evan Kuram, Hiroshitayu, Aziz Wasi, Takeda Adachi, Miyuki, Sven Jensen, Dan Evans make up the rest of the field alongside Nikki Michan. Ethan Bertelsen is no longer going to be racing here, just to remind everyone. He has officially left the ARO. He has been replaced by Matthias Zacharias. Just wanted to reflect that as well. Give me a second. Yes, we jumbled up the name on purpose. This is to... Alright. So yeah, Matthias Zacharias also in 22nd, Elisha 23rd, Angela Sims not having a preseason as well. Great Power also trying to finish out his campaign for Gaogura. Not the way like this though. And then there's also Don Elise, who have been at the races so far. There are also rumors that she may be racing her last time for Rockaway Jelly before she's gonna get ejected into the field. And we have forgotten to extend the qualifying time from 5 minutes to 10. So again, excuse us while we try to reload the session. So anyways, welcome everyone to the commentary, welcome everyone to Spielberg. My name is Mama Reza in the commentary booth. It is going to be a very, very long day ahead after we just hosted the CEO Series race, which we saw some beehive racing action in the final stages of the CEO Series' Yongnam 400. But now we are here in Spielberg on broad daylight on a bright and sunny day. Let's go racing here in Spielberg. And why is the leaderboard? What does the Zen TV leaderboard not show the thingy? So, anyways, we are now finally started qualifying with Nichimi-chan being the first car out in car number 52 for Mokoko Bisgard. Sven Jensen also coming out as well. Not that coming out. For Iris, he has already won in Donington Park, which essentially helped his campaign very much. He has been a perennial underdog so far in his time in ARO competitions. But he has shown that he has been able to get things done in the Iris number 86 when he needs to. As we are now getting cars ready up for the qualifying. Nunchitayo initially had a bright start to the season, but has fallen off into the mid pack after a string of bad results. Will it change this time round? Speaking of which, we are going to be checking drivers who will be starting their laps. Anywho, we are going to be seeing which other cars have yet to start a lap. Javier Lusby. Alright, so let's take a look into Javier Lusby's onboard as we're going to see what the track looks like. Anyways, coming to the final two corners, you gotta need to be clean on both ends of the corner and then get a great exit. You can get a lot more speed than possible in the final corner for you to start your flying lap here in the Red Bull Ring. And now into turn 1, brake at 100-meter board. Don't clip the yellow curbs there so that your car doesn't get unsettled. And then you got a good exit onto the uphill section and into the hairpin. Turn 4 is one of the slowest corners of the track. Brake at 100-meter board, try to go as wide as possible, downshift the first gear, and then try to get the early exit as much as possible. Maybe go for an early late apex, or you to get a good run down this downhill back straight, and then into the 100-meter board just before the banner. Into second gear you go. You want to try to get a good run there, and then into the left-hander. Coming into the second turn 7, I believe. He's only 1.2 seconds behind, so that's not going to look good so far. But he is faster than all but 2, so as I have already crossed the line, then you got a great exit off turn 8. So you got a decent run into turn 11 and turn 12, I believe, at 50. And then coming to the final two corners, you can carry a lot of speed in the final corner, and that should be a lap here in the Red Bull Ring. As Javier Lusby is projected to be only 6th place. He's lost a lot of time. Sven Jensen already up in 5th. This is going to look good if Ryan Kagawa again doesn't score higher. And speaking of which, we are checking if Ryan Kagawa is here or not. Yes, he is. This is where the championship leader is. 100 points ahead of Yutazano. No matter what happens, the battle will carry on until the final race of the season. Whether it will be just Ryan Kagawa and Javier Lusby, or will it involve the other championship contenders, we will see how it goes. Looks like Ryan Kagawa will qualify no higher than 5th with the time that he has right now, unless he finds a lot more time. And looking at Javier Lusby, who has been struggling with pace so far, he is going to be set to qualify last. Southern Reza has also been struggling here in the Red Bull Ring. Tawan Bumin has crossed the line. Ryan Kagawa up next. Only good enough for 9th. already it's gone into Kagawa's favor. And as for Shaolin Reza, he is going to be set to be out of title contention if he doesn't step up. Lots of things to fight for in the final throes of the championship coming to the end of the 24-25 season. Ryan Kagawa is going to go for it. He is going to try to extend his lead over Looseby. But Looseby actually has matched, though, the first sector, fastest first sector out of anyone so far. Looseby, meanwhile, he may be pretty old for ARO standards, but he is still kicking it with experience. Into the 100-meter board he goes. You can see how much speed that he's carrying. Okay, so far he's going to go for a pretty comfortable exit. Currently, Evelyn Kuromi on provisional pole for ER Bloodflame, trying to fight back after Tyler Williams' pretty lackluster showing. And there you can see he's already 1.3 seconds behind. He just needs to beat Kagawa in this qualifying session if Looseby wants to have any chance of actually beating him. And Kagawa has improved. He is now up into 6th. Javier Looseby is going to be giving it a try. Not a very great run though in the final sector. And as Kagawa is about to cross the line, oh, he does improve, but he is still in last place. In this split format, if you look at the points, just wanted to restore a bit of history here. As just wanted to check if there's anything going on, and it looks to me that there might be things going on, but I think we have messed up the standings just a bit. Alright, so coming to the final quarter of this qualifying session, we are just going to be seeing how it goes from here. And just wanted to see here in bated breath, and as you can see here, there's still not much to separate between everyone, as we are just gonna check on the field. And alright, so we are just going to... We have a bit of an issue with the essentially the results here, so we are just gonna probably have to lock it back manually. So we are just checking at Looseby, who is still trying to get away from last place. Kagawa is now in 7th. To try to build as much gap as he can to Looseby to bring home the title for EN, and Looseby is trying his best, but is only good enough for 2.8, which is absolutely a bit of a mess here. Meanwhile, just want to check on Evelyn Kuromi, who has been able to set a pole position. Yuri Rafa de Oliveira is chasing though. We'll see how it goes to everyone else as the field continues to get themselves in a position, as we're going to have to restart the count. Coming to the final seconds of qualifying here in the Red Bull Ring, Rafael de Oliveira is going to try his luck once again as he's finally back out on the track. Javier Lusby is going to be stuck and has decided to go into the pits. He will need to think of a strategy to get ahead of Ryan Kagawa and steal as many points as possible coming to the final race of the season. The runner-up in the championship so far is going to start last, and Ryan Kagawa will start 8th or lower. With a few cars left looking to make the run, Reza has improved. He's now up into 7th place. Looking to bring the fight back into his hands as he is still pretty much behind. As Shazan Reza is just going to proceed to go into the pit. Nishi-Michan has improved. He has beaten De Oliveira. De Oliveira isn't gonna improve on his time. Looking into the rest of the field here. De Oliveira is actually the last car on the track here. We'll see if he's able to find any improvements, but I don't think it's gonna be the case. Of the remaining 13 cars in the field, I think it is gonna be Evelyn Kuromi with another pole position of her career. Congratulations to Evelyn Kuromi for her pole position in the Spielberg Super Prix. And what a session that has been for the field here. We are just going to, and then we are just going to anyways, just wanted to introduce everyone back into the starting lineup here, as we're about to get the race underway. It is Evelyn Kuromi on pole position for Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. The Rosarians have to be excited for this outcome, with the Queen up on pole position. Well, Nishi-Michan is finally trying to get a kick back into his season with Mokoko after starting the season with, I believe, Fuwawa. And also, we got Rafael de Oliveira currently in 3rd for Pavolia Rene. If Yutasano 4th for Gigi Murray. Ahmed El Shore starts 5th for he actually has an Egyptian license, as you can see here. Starts 5th for Carlo Kowalski. The German was a carryover from Monica Schelage. It still pops up again from time to time. Corey Mendes 6th for Takanashi Kiara. 7th place Momo Reza for Kaseki Biju. Ryan Kagawa 8th. Running actually a Malaysian nationality for Nerissa Rayvaka. The championship leader will start 8th. Tawan Boomin starts 9th for Fuawa Biscard. Fuamoko 1 and 9. And Nishtayo rounds the top 10 portion of Amuna. 11th place goes with Van Jensen for Iris, and 12th place Don Elise for Orokrichi Oli. And the runner-up in the championship standings right now, Javier Lusby, will start 13th. So lots to talk about. We still have much of the race to talk about, and it is Evelyn Kuromi on pole position, Ryan Kagawa in 8th, and also Javier Lusby in 13th place. Let's see how it goes as we're about to start this race. And so anyways, we do have the race finally starting. The 5 red lights are on. It is ERB on pole position, Nishi-Michan alongside in the Mokoko number 52. The race is underway for the Spielberg Super Prix. Looks like it's a great start from Kuromi. We'll see how the rest of the field goes as we are gonna go zoom out. No casualties so far. Styrian Mountains are now alive with the sound of V6 engines, and Tayo now beats Tawan Boomin at the start. Coming into the uphill hairpin is Evelyn Kuromi leading De Oliveira, Michan 3rd, Asano 4th, Ella Shore 5th, Mendes 6th, Shanreza 7th, Kagawa 8th, has overtaken Tawan Boomin as stays in 8th, but not before Tawan Boomin has a shot to overtake. And yes, Tawan Boomin, you might want to try and overtake at the downhill corner at turn 5. And Kagawa manages to defend. Meanwhile, Donnelly, Sven Jensen, and Javier Lusby will be chasing, but all eyes will be on Lusby, whether or not he's able to defend, or rather he will be able to attack where he is right now. Romy, meanwhile, now leads by 2 seconds over the rest of the field. So much to talk about, as we do have to fix the standings a bit because I forgot to essentially put back the standings. Right now we are now started at lap 2 as Tawan Bomin is about to be under pressure from Hinoshi Tayo, running currently in 10th. This is a battle for 9th. As you can see here, that's Hinoshi Tayo already going down the inside against Tawan Bomin. As we see here across the exit, he hasn't been able to make the pass stick, or rather, yeah, he hasn't made the pass stick. Never mind, she hasn't made the pass stick. Hinoshi Tayo. Meanwhile, looking at Kagawa, who is currently continuing on as usual. I believe that's Corey Recomendes, though, trying to make the pass on El Ashore for 5th place. Still lots to talk about as the race continues to progress. Kuromi now has the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.761. El Ashore, meanwhile, is chasing Kyuta Asano, who has provided us with an interesting campaign so far for Gigi Murin. Although Asano is already out of title contention, Asano does surprise everyone by winning in his first try in Formula Hololive International. Meanwhile, Reza is about to be under pressure from the championship leader Kagawa, who's hungry for more points. Reza now trying to find a way to defend his position where he can, and you can see here Kagawa's trying to make a charge. Just too far back though. And you can see here Lusby is still stuck in the back of the field here. He is gonna run pretty long, and he is gonna not pit. Everyone else will not be pitting in this race. As you can see here, everyone essentially fueled to the brim, so there will be no pit stop. And that's not Evelyn Kuromi, that's the safety car. Evelyn Kuromi is actually in the lead right here, and she is looking very comfortable leading for ERB. Continues to set fastest lap, 1:18.339, beats our lap time targets and then some. Well, the Red Bull Ring has seen multiple dramas here, especially if you'll remember last year's race, where essentially no one really wanted to win the final stages of the race as the sun was setting. Eventually the win was given to Aziz Muazif, who would later go on to win the championship for Ayunda Risu. Well, he's already out of title contention now, but it was a very interesting prospect to talk about. Speaking of which, as we see the rest of the field behind Asano trying to make way. As you can see here, Corey Recomendes trying to find a way past Ahmed El Ashore. And then Kuromi continues to pull away from the rest of the field. Fastest lap after fastest lap. Lap cars, I don't know if it will be part of the equation. But you can see here El Ashore having a great run. Tries to catch the gremlin that is Gigi Murin. Not sure what's happening to her tail, but it's just GG things. As we're going to go on board with the Egyptian driver. That's a very great show. Will he be making a move down the inside? The answer will be yes. He will try to. make a move, but he doesn't have a good exit. Asano defends 4 for now. Meanwhile, Corey Rica Mendez is going to be on the hunt for that position. Charlie Reza, meanwhile, is going to be looking, has a decent look so far, but right now, nothing coming out of it yet. As the race continues to progress, Evelyn Kuromi continues to set fastest lap after fastest lap. Meanwhile, Hinochi Taiyo is going to be making a move against Tawan Boomin. This is for 9th place, but it is Boomin who's able to defend. Tries to go alongside, but Taiyo cuts, Tawan Boomin cuts her off. 11 to 13 are in their own pack as well. Oh, that is Ryan Kagawa trying to make a move down the inside and nearly gets squeezed off. Meanwhile, Tawan Boomin and Hinochi Taiyo are gonna be using that as an opportunity to get past Kagawa. Hinochi Taiyo has to back off. Meanwhile, Tawan Boomin is gonna go around the outside to make a move against Kagawa. Kagawa has to check up, and that is Boomin up into 8th. It's not over yet for the secretaries, as Taiyo is looking for a possible move there. Southern has actually managed to squeeze Kagawa, not to the point where was off limits, but it's good enough to the point where he's able to essentially stay where he is. Very great racing there as Javier Lusby and Sven Jensen try to go at it between each other. Lusby tries the outside line. He's looking for a move to get himself into the top. And by the top, I mean... Oh, by the way, we haven't really adjusted the fuel tanks. We had to restore an old version of the mod due to the original file being deleted when I had to reinstall Windows, and that is through a format. Anyways, Javier Lusby has a decent exit. So does Sven Jensen. But Sven Jensen, meanwhile, hasn't been able to catch up. Will Lusby think of a move down the inside? The answer is no. Meanwhile, as we see Shazan Reza continue to kind of pull away against Kagawa, he knows it's not going to be enough for him to keep himself in title contention. Shazan knows he has to win if he wants to stay in this hunt. And even then, it requires Kagawa and Lusby to not finish inside the top 10. To put him within 400 points of the championship leader. If Lusby does win against Sven Jensen, well, it is going to be an interesting sight. And essentially, we got to see a new championship leader for the first time since round 3, I believe, when we were in Atlanta. You can see here, we're going to go on to Lusby's on board and see where he essentially holds up. And you can see he doesn't get close enough though against Sven Jensen. He's trying his luck from wherever he goes to at least limit the damage. Don Elise meanwhile is blocking Sven Jensen. Sven Jensen might be thinking of a move, but at the same time has to think of defensive action against Javier. Oh, that's Hinochi Taiyo and Ryan Kagawa. That's Hinochi Taiyo though, trying to make a move around the outside of Ryan Kagawa. Ryan Kagawa is actually falling off from this race. He started in 8th, and he is about to lose yet another position. And that's a very poor exit off of the double left-handers, and that would be Hinochi Taiyo almost pushing Kagawa off. And Kagawa manages to defend, but for now... Yeah, Kagawa manages to defend. Tayo, meanwhile, is on the hunt. He is hungry for position. She's hungry for positions. And Tayo is gonna try to make an even bigger charge for herself. Romy, meanwhile, is on a very comfortable position. At the moment, she is currently leading by 6 seconds. Ryan Kagawa, meanwhile, about to chase Tawan Bumin. But that's not the exit he's looking for, Ryan. And now looking into the exit of turn 5, it is still pretty much the status quo. As you can see here, Lusby. Oh, you can see here Sven Jensen is going to try to make a move against Dawn Elise as they're still side by side at turn 7 and 8. Elise tries to hang it around, but Sven Jensen has her beat. Dawn Elise is now under pressure this time against Lusby, but Lusby has to check up. Knows the car better, but may not have the youthful energy that he once had. I mean, that's just the way it goes every time someone ages. But Lusby, meanwhile, is going to be using his experience to his advantage. Now 9 laps complete. Lap 10 of the Spielberg Super Prix. And and that is Javier Lusby spinning out! By, I believe, Dawn Elise. It looks like there were contact between the two. Lusby is gonna try to get himself back, and he is parked! Ah! He's parked! And that will be Javier Lusby out of the race. It is now a championship wide open, or rather, it will be Kagawa's championship to lose. Even if he does bring a top 9 or a 9th place finish or an 8th place finish, with Javier Lusby confirmed to be out of the race and him only being able to score, wait for it, 8 points. This means one thing. He can at most extend his lead by over 192 points to give himself a 292 points lead. And this will mean that if coming into Mandalika, Ryan Kagawa just needs 4th place or better at the Red Bull Ring at Mandalika. If he does win this race here at Spielberg, for him to clinch the title. Ryan Kagawa has been told of this information, and so he is currently being told to just chill and calm down. Ryan Kagawa has heard about this, and he is gonna make sure to carry home as many points as he can coming into Mandalika. Absolute drama here in the Red Bull Ring. Oh, and there's also someone actually going off. Looks like it is someone, I believe, who has gone off at trying to go side by side at turn 7, turn 8. And I believe it is Dawn Elise who has gone off. Miwatama Bumi and Shazareza go side by side. Hayanoshi Tayo and Ryan Kagawa are going to trade places between each other. And it's Kagawa who remains in 9th. Now on the hunt against Shazar and Reza. Drama in the championship battle. I am pretty much as cosmic as everyone else is. Meanwhile, so we're going to be taking a look into Kagawa, who has to lift off there. Nochitayo might be sniffing an opportunity to get herself into a position of menace. Tayo, great exit from her. Let's see if she might be able to get a move done. Meanwhile, we got the Oliveira setting a 1:18.4. Kuromi has been in control of this race, has opened the gap to 10 seconds. Running the blue helmet. Meanwhile, Corica Mendes has overtaken Ryota Asano. This is for 4th place. Iwa Inoshitayo and Ryan Kagawa are gonna try again between each other. Sven Jensen is now joining in on the fight. We're gonna be taking a look into Ryan Kagawa. If he does manage to finish this race inside the top 10, it will be at least a 30-point swing. At least a 28-point swing in his favor. It will only make Luspi's championship run a bit more difficult. But the advantage will still be in Kagawa's advantage coming into Mandalika, the end of the championship for Formula Hololive International. On board Kagawa's number 76 Narissa Ravencroft machine, and right now the allure of Medima Sound has essentially caught everyone off guard, and now Kagawa is in charge of the situation. But not before Hinoshitayo has a very good run. She's gonna try to go down the inside, peels it down, but she's just too far back. She's gonna open the door for Sven Jensen though, for him to make a charge. Oh, and there's contact between Shazrin Reza and Ryan Kagawa, and that's 2 cars out of the race. Shazrin Reza will have to try to continue, but has slammed it. Ryan Kagawa and Javier Lusby crashing in the same race. Kagawa is gonna try his best to continue, but you saw how it developed as both of them tried to go down the inside at turn 1. Kagawa actually hesitated and understeered into Shazrin Reza at the start-finish line in the middle of turn 1, and to send both cars out. My goodness, Kagawa is only gonna have a grand total of... My goodness. You look at the difference. 14 points separating between Kagawa and Luspi's points earned, which also means one thing. As far as the championship battle is concerned, I think it is almost going to be a certainty as far as the championship situation is concerned heading into Mandalika. All Kagawa needs is at the very end. Well, he is gonna have to at least try to win this race. Well, win Mandalika, and if he does win Mandalika, well, hang on. I'm just gonna try to help think about the championship context as the race continues to progress. Take a look and see if Sven Jensen has made his move against Hinoshitayo or not. Oh, anywho, it looks to me that Javier Lusby can win this race, but he needs to hope that that there will no he's okay. Javier Lusby can try to win this race, but he needs to hope that Kagawa doesn't finish 6 or higher. If Kagawa finishes 6 or higher, he will be the Formula Hololive International Champion. But Javier Lusby can try to win it here as long as he's able to score. Well, he was able to make up a 114-point deficit against his championship rival. So much things to look into, especially when you think about the permutations. Meanwhile, we're looking at Ahmed El Ashor We're gonna go on board a number 58 Kyla Kowalska machine to see where he currently is in the grand scheme of things. We will check on the thingy here. So if we look into the situation in this championship, it has now become essentially Shadid Reza also out. We've also Shadid Reza crashing out of this race. It also means that Shadid Reza is now officially out of title contention. Here comes another contact. That's Ahmed El Ashor sending both himself and Yuta Sano out of the race. Oh no, that's just turn one calamity once again. It's now become Calamity Corner. This is the Calamity Corner for this race, and that's gonna be both drivers out. Yuta Sano will exit this race at 9th. Ahmed El Ashor will exit this race in 10th, as we're gonna have to focus in looking at the rest of the drivers here. We're already seeing a pretty interesting carnage here. Already 5 cars out of this race. Shadid Reza is not going to be happy about Ryan Kagawa, but he's going to probably talk to him in another day. Okay, doesn't want to risk too much. We only have 88 cars left here in the Spielberg Super Pre. 8 cars remaining, and this may sound a bit too quiet, especially if you're used to seeing lots of cars racing, but we do need at least 2 cars to have a race, and 13 cars is the minimum for FIA standards, well, in F1 for it to be considered a championship round, so that's that. Speaking of it, Evelyn Chromis' gap has now closed down to 6.7 seconds, as the Oliveira is catching up. And right now Sven Jensen is catching up to Tawan Bumin for the top 5 spot. Looking into the rest of the championship contenders who are currently racing in Split A, Rafael de Oliveira is having a great race so far. And assuming he scores the second maximum amount of points in this race at 175, he is most likely going to be in the championship hunt at home in Indonesia, with 1 race to go against the mighty Kagawa and Lusby, but his road to the championship is going to be far more difficult. He's going to require both of the leading championship contenders to crash out and finish outside the top 20. And you're Rafael de Oliveira to win it all, to have a 350-point swing. But right now, it is still a massive question mark of what will happen. As the races continue to progress. So much question marks to talk about at the moment, but right now, based on the calculations here, Ryan Kagawa will exit this race here with, at the very least, 1,924 points. Javier Lusby will only bring home 1,800. It will be at 1,810. It's still far from. it's still far from conclusive, the championship battle, as we still have lots of the race to go. Well, if you just come here, we have unfortunately, I've regrettably reported that, oh, there's Hinochitayo and Tawan Booming going side by side. The Muna car now ahead of the Fuawa car. Speaking of which, we have lost two of our championship contenders, Ryan Kagawa racing for Nurse Ravencroft, and Javier Lusby racing for Vestia Zeta. And you saw in the replay Sven Jensen and Hinochitayo actually tussling around, and both of them actually, and Sven Jensen actually running Hinochitayo off, and that allowed Tawan Booming to go on usual. And right now we don't have a penalty for forcing other drivers off the track because we cannot really automate this, and we don't have stewards. So, and it's all raced by AI anyway. So, anywho, Evelyn Chromi has pulled back the gap against De Oliveira. Still a massive question mark as to how this races will go. Don Elise 15 seconds behind the rest of the field. Tawan Booming now on the hunt against Hinochitayo. Sven Jensen currently in 5th. Sven Jensen not having a great season by his standards. He was up there, but has been a victim of a multitude of circumstances. As we are just gonna check on the rest of the field. Tawan Booming though, meanwhile trying to catch up to Hinochitayo. Already coming into turn 1. And let's see how it goes for both of them so far. And now you can see here Tawan Booming about to make a move down the inside, and as it stands right now, they're doing pretty okay here, all things considered. A second. And right now, everything's pretty okay so far. As we are just going to check on the race at the moment. Tawan Booming still chasing Hinochitayo. Chromi's gap to De Oliveira has been wavering off, as now we get to see here De Oliveira catching up to, or rather Nishimichan catching up to Urafa De Oliveira. This is for the battle for second. Let's see how it goes from here. Nishimichan who really hasn't had the best performances in the Mokoko machine, is gonna go at it, and it goes for a bold move around the inside. Overcooks the corner. What a bold move that was from Nishimichan for him to get into second place. That was bold from the Mogojan. Woo! Bold stuff there. Meanwhile, we still have much of this race to go, as we are just going to relog the results that were pretty lost. As now we get to see Nichimichan on air here to see if he's able to make a move against Evelyn Kuromi, who has been controlling this race lead since the start. Almost coming into lap 25. And as Hinoshi Tayo has a problem, and it looks like there's contact between Tao and Bumin again at turn 1. Let's see what happened here. A short replay session will, a short replay will answer our calls. As you can see here, that's just Tao and Bumin going down the inside and doesn't give room to Hinoshi Tayo. And as you can see here, Tao and Bumin overcooked the corner, hit the curb, so that went into the side of Hinochi. Stirred way too late, but I think Hinoshi Tayo was able to continue. And already, there is, now we get to see Hinoshi Tayo back onto the race. Tao and Bumin is now going to confirm his spot in 8th place. Don Elise will still stay in 7th, Tayo in 6th, Sven Jensen 5th, Koi Rico Mendes 4th, De Oliveira 3rd, Nichimichan 2nd, Evelyn Kuromi in the lead. And already we have lap cars. We're just as gobsmacked as you are, as the race has to continue to progress. Again, if you enjoyed the stream, please drop a like, and if you do want to see more Hololive racing, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss any more aero racing coming out, you can hit the notification bell. But anywho, back on topic, and this is something to point out. Oof. And as you can see here, shots fired right now. And right now, with all the championship leaders gone, it's now at the onus of De Oliveira to try to get himself back into championship contention. But it is going to be pretty difficult from this angle. Oh, and I think that's at least stepping out the rear. And also, I think she has kind of slowed down Evelyn Kuromi, I believe. We'll have to check back as to what had happened. Nichimichan. Koi Rico Mendes still doing very well in 4th place as it stands. Still massive amounts of questions to be asked. And as you can see here, we already have over almost half the field retired for this race already, which is which we have already kind of gotten used to. No, not much battles to report so far. De Oliveira has kind of lost out to Nichimichan. Evelyn Kuromi, meanwhile, has essentially extended her lead somewhat as Don Elise has picked up the pace. Tawan Bumin is already out in the pit lane right now. That's a massive amount of that's a massive upset, all things considered. Well, it's funny to think that Assetto have essentially returned to winning ways. It's just that given the circumstances that we have seen, it is pretty insane to think about. Ryan Kagawa did finish on the podium multitude of times. He has had 2 second place finishes so far this season. All of them have been in Grand Prix. 1 third place and a win, especially in Singapore, which absolutely lifts spirits. Oh, and that is Dawn Elise, and that is Evelyn Kuromi being sent into the outside runoff area, and that would mean that Dawn Elise is actually causing a lot of trouble to the leader. De Oliveira, meanwhile, has gone side by side with Nichi Michan, as all both of these drivers have now tried to go side by side. And both of them have now caught up to the current race leader. But not by much though. Kuromi is gonna try again against Elise, who is running like crazy. Which I didn't think it would be possible, but here we are. As we continue to progress in this race, still lots of questions are to be asked. What is going on here in the Red Bull Ring? We have had some interesting side-by-side tussles and almost certain crashes, and already we saw crashes, which is insane to even think about. As we now get to see De Oliveira trying to get close to Nichi Michan. 29 laps complete, and we still are looking for a winner. Romy, meanwhile, is catching up to Nichi Michan, Dawn Elise. Oof, very much drama, left, right, and center, as we essentially would like to report. And as you can see here, Kuromi has now gone into the back of Elise once again. And now it's going to be Evelyn Kuromi trying to go for the inside move into turn 1, but will it work? And this time, oh, and that's Evelyn Kuromi going off wide, but manages to overtake Dawn Elise. But not before Dawn Elise is going to try to fight back. Remember, no proper blue flag rules in Assetto Corsa. It's a free-for-all between the lap cars and yourself. And that would be Evelyn Kuromi ahead of Dawn Elise. Whew. That was a bit of a butt clencher move, as we have now finished 30 laps here in the Red Bull Ring. We've already reached the halfway. We still have lots more to go before we can properly conclude this race. We finished 30 laps We still have lots to go. Corey Jimenez and Sven Jensen will salvage a very good race, especially for Sven Jensen, who started 11th, now up into 5th. Very great stuff there from the Norwegian driver. Oh, you hear the screeching there. That's not gonna sound good, but I think he should be able to be fine. He should be able to be fine, which is a bonus, all things considered. Oh man, just wanted to check. And that is essentially the rest of the field here. Just stuck in the pits. Meanwhile, De Oliveira is now slowly catching up to Nichi Michan, as this might be our closest battle on the racetrack that we have been able to detect. As the points continue to be logged back, as I essentially forgot about all that. Speaking of which, we are still taking a look into how everything else has gone so far. De Oliveira is still trying to catch up to Nichi Michan for second place. Evelyn Kuromi, meanwhile, still holding on to the lead. Our next lap car will be Kinochi Tayo. Hits the curb pretty aggressively, but doing pretty okay at the moment. Anyway, say hi if you're watching the stream right now. Love to like to see your interactions with the stream. I'll try to respond to any questions that I can answer. And if you are out of the loop a bit, we have said goodbye to Ethan Baltuson, who have officially left the ARO. It was a who have served the ARO for 2 years until he has decided to make his leave. His presence will certainly be remembered, as the rest of the field has to continue. Matthias Zacharias will be continuing the legacy for International Movement number 21 until the ride finally retires in June. There's still one more hall type race for Nanashi Mume and Gagura to deal with, and that would be the Le Mans 5 hours, which will take place in late May, as we're about to conclude the month of May and coming into June. And that's a great exit from De Oliveira. Might be there's a move down the inside. Yes, there is. Will he go alongside? Yes, he does, and that's a very aggressive move this time. Goes for a mimic move against Nichi Michan. Nichi Michan tried to go for a very crazy lunge down the inside at turn 11, and De Oliveira has responded in due course. Responded in kind, and he is now up back into second place. De Oliveira isn't going to be going home without a fight. He is going to try to bring this championship to Kagawa, even if the odds are going to be severely against him. He needs to at least be 1,524 points. And I think he might just be in a position where he's still able to compete for the title. Looks like he will be at least 4th in the championship after all of this is settled. But if he does win for Pavole Rene, what a win this will be. We've seen the Rene cars and Irapochi cars win in the VTuber Racing Projects' Formula Hollow World Championships. But in Formula Hololive International, it's still the case of whether or not De Oliveira might catch up to Evelyn Kuromi right at the end, or if Evelyn Kuromi somehow crash out. Because look at this. This is how far Kuromi is to Hinochi Tayo right now. It's still not over yet. There's still a race to fight. There's still a race to do. Going on board Hinoshi Tayo, who has had a pretty quiet race so far. But right now the talk will be at Evelyn Kuromi, the current championship leader, who has had a very good season ever since taking over from Tyler Williams for the Rosarians. Is looking to compete at exactly half the races that alongside Tyler. So both of these drivers will be credited as drivers for Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. Strangely enough, that is the case, as Kuromi is going to barrel her way into what might be a convincing run for ERB. Currently, the ERB team is currently in the mid pack at 14th place. But right now, there's every chance that it will be something else entirely. Oh, and that is Kuromi understeering. Let's see if any other drivers might suffer the same handling misstep. As you can see here, De Oliveira suffers no such problems. As you can see here, he has managed to close down the gap as a result. We'll see if Kuromi can remain consistent after all these times. Kuromi still stays where she is right now. Kuromi might have Hinoshi Tayo on her sights. And we are just gonna check onto okay. Looks like the gap has pretty much opened up to the rest of the field, so we are going to have a pretty quiet race at this point. We have already seen lots of chaos, 6 cars out, including the 2 championship contenders. So we are just going to have a pretty calm race, all things considered. As we're gonna go on board, see what looks see what's happening on Roman's point of view. Noshitayo has done pretty well so far with a 1:18.9, has managed to stay ahead and is slowly catching to Sven Jensen, but now we get to see Noshitayo actually going off wide, and that will allow Kuromi to catch back up even more. You see how many drivers essentially went off, and you can see here red marks on the... That's just pretty weird. Anyway, we still have 20 laps to go here in the Spielberg Super Prix, and it's still anyone's game. Anyways, back here in the Red Bull Ring, and still no change so far. It's gonna be a low-key affair coming into the end of the race here, as we are just going to check on to what has been going on so far. We are just going to report. As they are now going to barrel down into the start-finish straight. Meanwhile, we still have a possible fight to look into. De Oliveira still chasing Don Elise, and right now he is stuck behind Don Elise, his fellow Holoro teammate. We are gonna check his onboard, see if he's able to make the pass. And right now he needs to stay where he is right now. He's gonna go for a low-risk maneuver, but this might look high risk as he is still peeling alongside. Will he going for a late dive bomb? Yes, he does. He's gonna overcook it somewhat. Sends Don Elise off the track, but he knows that he needed to do that. However, that's gonna be Criolis' Don Elise's great run down the inside of the final corner. And now it's gonna be a case of caution. And Oliveira has managed to pass. Now it's on the onus of Nishimi-chan to make the pass if he wants to continue the pressure against De Oliveira. But right now Michan is gonna take a bit calm, but not before he has a look down the inside. De Oliveira is gonna be using this opportunity to secure second place. And you just can't help but enjoy the sound of the V8 engines. You can see here, Nichimi-chan's gonna try again at the main straight against Don Elise. As you can see here, Don Elise and has spun out. Nichimi-chan running in third. It's not a bow day for Nichimi-chan, as he is now the next casualty in the Spielberg Super Prix, which only leaves... Actually, no, there's no more 4 Moco cars in this race, which will put... I'm not sure if that will be considered as a penalty. We will have to check the replays once again for Don Elise, and it looks to me that no, Don Elise is not going to be faulted for that. As in the turn-in, Nichimi-chan was still behind, and it was a lunge from Nichimi-chan, and that will essentially send Michan out of race. Sven Jensen continues his climb. He's now at the 4th. De Oliveira, meanwhile, is going to continue smiling. But as for the KFP employees, they will have their They will have their driver in the podium at home, in Kiara's home, to an extent. But anywho, and now into the final corner. Rica Mendes is just going to go into 3rd place, as we now have more than half of the field already out of the race. Oh, a bit of a screeching on the tires, as the tires are essentially giving up the ghost. Still an interesting look here in this championship battle. Oh, that's Nichimi-chan, who was already out of this race, but has yet to teleport back into the pits. Not sure why. And right now we are checking into the other drivers here. Evelyn Kuromi now still leads by 20 seconds. De Oliveira leads Mendes by 23 seconds. Mendes has led Jensen by over 20 seconds as well. Jensen leads Aya by nearly 15 seconds. Hey, you know what? Something to look out for. Now it's Hinashitayo blocking Evelyn Kuromi. If Kuromi messes up this line and Rafael De Oliveira wins, then the points gap will close down even more. And this will at least give De Oliveira his first win since 2024 in February, when he won at Sepang. And as you can see here, still not really much to talk about, as the race has gotten pretty calm at this point. Nishitayo still causing some trouble to Evelyn Kuromi, but who knows if there's gonna be late race drama and the final stages. And it's still a pretty interesting look here as Kuromi is still behind Hinochi Tayo. Apologies, there's not much commentary to talk about. There's still not really a lot to talk about, honestly. As we still have the race to talk about here. Kuromi and Hinochi Tayo now equaling each other in terms of pace. And right now we do have Koyuriko Mendez. Oh dear, Koyuriko Mendez. Looks like as we were away, looks like the KFB aren't gonna be having their moment of glory after all. Here's what happened, and it looks like it is a self-inflicted event. Let's see what happened to Koyuriko Mendez. That's Koyuriko Mendez coming off into turn 6 into turn 7. He just overcooked it. I think he did overcook it. Oh my goodness, that's Koyuriko Mendez out of the race. What was supposed to be a home free run for the KFB has now become a race of disappointment as Don Elise goes up into 5th place. Koyuriko Mendez will only end up with 6. Wow. Just wow. We still have lots to talk about in this race as we are about to conclude the Spielberg Super Prix, as I'm still trying to juggle both commentary, race hosting, and relogging of race results. Phillip Island was story of Dan Evans winning. Oh man, I do need to go have a meeting at the toilet, but right now we have to hold it. And right now we still have an interesting question on our heads, and it is currently who will be the next victim. Anything can happen. Koyuriko Mendez was a case of just overcooking it into the exit of turn 7. Overcooking in the middle of turn 7 and understeering into the gravel trap, which essentially only gives the KFB 6th place. 5 cars remaining here in the Spielberg Super Prix 5, or rather 9 laps to go. Kuromi still in control, but anything can happen as she's now finally gone into the back of Hinochi Tayo, one of the last few cars running. Sven Jensen will come home with a podium at this rate. Rafael de Oliveira is looking for his first finish in the first win since February 2024 last year. Just a massive question mark to talk about. Not exactly a massive question mark of sorts, but we still do have a thing to talk about. As you can see here, Kuromi is still trying to catch up to Yuri Rafael de Oliveira. To no avail. Still, Donald is behind Hinochi Taiyo by 42 seconds. Jensen behind Oliveira by 45 seconds. Tied behind by Jensen by 13 seconds. De Oliveira behind Evelyn Kuromi by 18 seconds. I think it's clear to say. I think it's safe to say that there's not many overtaking opportunities left to talk about. Which is how do I put this? Was a pretty interesting season, all things considered. We have some ups and downs. We have some crazy championship battles that we have seen so far. A tussle between young and old, EN versus ID, which has been the name of this championship battle that we have been seeing so far. We've been spoiled to lots of racing action. Who knows where the championship will take us in the next year or two. If we end up being big, let's not forget our roots. That's all we need to say. As Evelyn Kuromi has a very good run though, to try to make the pass on to Taiyo. That's Taiyo going slightly wide, and it was almost going to be a bit of a nightmare though for Kuromi. For the Rosarians watching, they are all getting pretty tensed up. And as you can see here, Kuromi still trying to chase Hinoshi Taiyo. Taiyo still blocking the way. And right now we are coming into 6 laps to go. We are at under 6 laps to go. And it's still pretty much a question mark as to whether or not Kuromi might be able to land the pass, or will Kuromi choke it in the final stages? Oh, there was a bit of a screeching there, but right now, still nothing to worry about as we're now coming to 5 laps to go. Oh, and that is a side-by-side action as well if I've ever seen one. And it's still a failed attempt to overtake by Evelyn Kuromi. For now, we still have to watch in bated breath as to how this thing will end. Will Kuromi hang on to this win? She has a pretty big gap though, so she really doesn't need to worry about it too much. And as you can see, Kuromi just gonna see if she's able to really take it easy though into the final 4 laps of this race. And right now it is still a case of whether or not they're able to stay where they are. And as you can see here, Kuromi and De Oliveira's gaps have yet to close since the start of that lap, which means both of them are currently on equal footing. Kuromi might just have, might be looking at her 2nd win of the season for Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. And what a result this will be for her, as we are still looking into how the situation has developed. Evelyn Kuromi has already won in Buriram. And now coming into the final 3 laps of this race, Kuromi still controls this race, but will it stay that way? It is going to be something that we all need to pay attention. Oh, we got a tire screeching. It might be some issue. It might be. It just means that the tires have essentially given out. But right now we are just gonna see here Evelyn Kuromi going around the outside, and that will be a pretty comfortable move around the outside, and that's gonna be a final nail to the coffin for De Oliveira's hopes of winning this race. Evelyn Kuromi on the penultimate lap of the race is gonna be in the best position yet to win this race, but I wouldn't be counting on it. Anything can still happen. So she just needs to bring it home. She just needs to bring that car to safety, and by safety I mean getting that win, and this will help her move up closer into the top 10, I believe. And we are just going to see how it goes. And we have almost re-logged everything in the standings here. We are coming into the final lap, and that's Dawn Elise off. That's Dawn Elise off. Looks like it is the same issue that has befell Koirika Mendes. Now it has happened to Dawn Elise, and here's what happened to her. Oh, overcooked the corner, went off wide, and that will be her out of the race because she has beached her car into the sandpit, and it will be it for her. And now Evelyn Kuromi about to start her final lap of the race in the lead here in the Spielberg Super Prix. Very much in command. De Oliveira will be looking to finish 2nd. Sven Jensen is going to look to finish 3rd to really get himself into that championship battle. Or not really in the championship battle, to really progress himself up into the standings. Dawn at least will at least bring home 5th. Nichi Michan only good enough for 7th. Hinoshi Tayo has done a great job to stay alive as we look into the progress chart. Biggest gainer, Sven Jensen, by far started in 11th, now up in 3rd. That one Bowman will be credited with an 8th place. Koirica Mendes, meanwhile, will only be credited with 6. And just to be sure, as we are just going to record the points back. Anyways, Evelyn Cromie for the Rosarians, for Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. She surely is going to get knighted sometime soon. With Evelyn Cromie coming across the final 2 corners in the Styrian Mountains. Evelyn Cromie is about to cross the line to grab the 2nd win of her career with the fastest lap of the race. Evelyn Cromie and ER Bloodflame has won the Spielberg Super Prix. And what a statement result this has been for her. Can't think of another good result for her as we are officially finished this race. Only Sven Jensen is yet to cross the line. De Oliveira has done very well to get into 2nd place, and as it stands, he will fight for the title. He may be all 387 points behind, but he is still in it. Don't count him out just yet. However, for Mohamed Reza, he is already out. Not the way that he wanted to bow out of this competition. And this also means that Josh Azuri in Split A will still fight for the title as well. But it is now his job for him to close down the gap. As Sven Jensen is about to cross the line to essentially finish off his run. We can finally make it official. Evelyn Cromie wins what has been a very, very dramatic race here in the Red Bull Ring. Tons of attrition, which has led to such great stories. Somewhat. Rafael de Oliveira finishes 2nd for Pavolia Rene. This will put him in the fight for the title. Only 4 drivers remain in the title fight. Sven Jensen will move up a few bits in the standings here, as he is now currently 16th. Spinach Tayo 4th, Don Elise 5th. And then Koirica Mendes 6th for Takanashi Kiara. He is now in 11th. Nichimicha and Tawan Bumin, former Carz, finishing 7th and 8th, which is something. Hyota Sano finishes 9th to finishes 9th to stay himself inside the top 10. Ahmed El Assour will drop down even further down the standings. He's now down into 20 plus place. And with the collision with Ryan Kagawa, Shadid Reza is officially out of title contention with 1 round to go, which is a bit of a shame. And it looks to me that Shadid Reza is going to be credited with 11th place rather than Ryan Kagawa. So going to have some slight adjustments. But that still means Shadid Reza will be out of title contention against Ryan Kagawa, the current championship leader, who is ahead of Javier Lusby by now 106 points. Which absolutely means one thing: if for Kagawa to win, he needs to at least finish. Well, how do I put this? Finish. I think he should be winning this race and to essentially guarantee him the title. Although he could essentially finish first, and essentially Javier Lusby not scoring 5th or lower for Kagawa to win the championship. But there's a lot of permutations to talk about. But anywho, we are just going to end the stream right here. And before that, we also want to share with you the championship standings. So after what has been a dramatic race here in the Red Bull Ring, this is what the championship standings looks like. Ryan Kagawa now ahead of Javier Lusby by 106 points. Joshua Zurit can try to close the gap down to try to close the gap down. He has already won in the Nürburgring. He will try again in Mugello. And if he does win there, he can close down the championship to double digits against Ryan Kagawa to make it an EN affair between Kagawa and Azure, while with Lusby and Rafael de Oliveira waiting in the wings. And everyone from 5th on back will be out of championship contentions. Jensen, with his 3rd place finish, will now go up into 16th place. Don Elise will at least grab a few more points to not be in 300 points anymore. And then Rafa de Oliveira will now also be in the championship hunt, but it requires everything to fall his way, which will mean he needs Ryan Kagawa to finish outside of the top 25, essentially finishing in last place. Javier Lusby finishing outside of the top 20. And Joshua Zurid, depending on the results, will need to finish outside of the top 20 or outside of the top 15 for Andrew Rafael winning at Mandalika to win the title. He will be considered a massive outsider looking in, but we will see how it goes from here. Anyways, my name is Mama Reza in the commentary booth as we're about to end the stream. We still have one more int race to deal with, and that will be the Mugello Super Prix. Coming in at an hour and 30 minutes time, and we have confirmed to you that Kamen Riba has already arrived at the Mugello racetrack to get himself ready for the race. That being said, thank you everyone for tuning into the Spielberg Super Prix. We'll see you in the next few hours for the Mugello Super Prix. Take care everyone and stay tuned.